Hey guys, Jay's back, and what I got for you today is a little informative video on one of my favorite fish that I am not allowed to keep at all in the United States, and it's actually a fairly weird fish for me to like. I don't know why I like it so much, but it's the snakehead. Now, with the snakeheads, all right. They are 100% illegal to have in captivity in the United States. And maybe if you're lucky, you'll see some of the angelfish back here trying to attack me. There's babies in there right now. And anyway, they are extremely invasive here in the U.S. right now. The problem is a lot of people think that aquarius like myself end up releasing them into our waterways and stuff like that. That's not 100% true. Actually, what happened is they are a delicacy. They're actually really good eating. I've eaten them before. They are pretty good. But what happened is, I hate to phrase it like this, but a lot of these oriental shops were importing them from Africa and Asia, which is where they're native to kill and, sell. They think that promotes better health when eaten, stuff like that. So that's actually how it was introduced into our waterways, is by, they were bringing them over here into private ponds and stuff, or into shipping crates, stuff like that. This that way they could kill them, sell them, eat them, stuff like that. Now the problem here in the U.S. is the northern snakehead. Right now they're invasive in California, Delaware, Florida, Hawaii, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Virginia, Rhode Island, and Pennsylvania. However, the bullseye snakehead, which is one that grows, I believe, much larger, they're actually a major problem in southern Florida right now. I believe that the biggest one that they caught was something like 17 pounds and like 3 ounces. So there is that. Sorry, wanted to have a quick vape. But, so a lot of the information behind them, there are 40 known species, 2 of which date back by 50 million years ago. So these are very ancient fish, and I think that's why I enjoy them so much. I like some of the more ancient fish, like I like bashirs, I like gar. I mean, I'm not sure if it's really considered ancient, but I like arowana, which, as everybody knows, here in the U.S., you're not allowed to have Asian arowana, but you're allowed to have the Jardini, and a couple of the other variants of them. But with the snakeheads, they are native to Africa and Asia. I believe Africa has like 36 known species, where Asia, that's where the rest of them are. But they can breathe air with their gills. It allows them to travel like short distances between waterways, but they can actually survive out of water for 4 days as long as they're wet. So, I mean, that's why they were like this big problem back in the day. They're like, oh, well, they could go from land and snag your pets and stuff like that. When in all actuality, they actually have extremely weak muscles. So it's actually extremely hard for them to cross land into other waterways, unless if that land is already wet. If it's wet, that land's already wet, it's easier for them to move, but on dry land, it's a lot harder because of their weak muscles. They do have suprabranchial organs, They are one of the oldest primitive labyrinth organs, which is the reason why they are able to breathe air through their gills. And also with this, it also lets them live in more stagnant water because they don't have to breathe through their gills. They just go up to the surface, gulp air, and come back down, almost like a bashir. Dwarf snakeheads reach about 10 inches in length. That's about it. But most of the other ones can reach 12 to 35 inches. But there are 5 species that can reach over 3 feet. The snakeheads are thrust feeders, so they basically propel themselves. When they're younger, they feed on stuff like freshwater plankton, aquatic insects, mollusks. But when they get bigger, they'll pretty much feed on anything. They're more known to feed on other fish, of course, frogs, small mammals, stuff like that. They're actually not very aggressive towards humans or anything bigger than them, unless if they're breeding. They are very territorial over their nesting sites. So if you get close to a nesting site, they're going to get you. They do have really sharp teeth, so they can easily, you know, do some large puncture wounds. I wouldn't say like really rip flesh or anything like that, but then again, there's probably some cases where they have. Their ancestors, like I said before, date back over 40 million years ago. So they are an extremely ancient fish. And with people that say, you know, dinosaurs don't exist today, well, right here is the case of one. I mean, 40 million years, I still classify that as like dinosaur era. Almost like gar, crocodiles, alligators, you know, stuff like that. So with them being an invasive species in our waterways, they hit apex predator status, which means that they have no natural enemies. I mean, technically we are, because we'll fish for them and eat them and stuff like that. But they can reach reach sexual maturity in 2 to 3 years. So what that means is females can release up to 15,000 eggs at once. So if you and not to mention they could breed up to 5 times a year. So if you think about it, in 2 years, a single female can release like 150,000 eggs. That's a whole lot. Of course, you know, being smaller, you know, predation, stuff like that, that's still a lot of snakehead, especially considering that they're an apex predator around here. That's why they're such a problem. Not to mention they're eating off, you know, all the other species, stuff like that. Matter of fact, they've actually poisoned entire ponds to completely get rid of this species. So, but of course, you know, they'll keep coming back. After the poison clears, they'll find a way back. They, you know. Here in the U.S., since they are extremely invasive species, if you are fishing and you do catch one, by law, you are required to kill it. They don't care if you eat it. Just kill it. Done. They want as few of them as possible. And trust me, if I could actually keep some of the dwarf snakeheads, I would. I think they're fascinating. Mainly, I think it's because they're primitive. Matter of fact, one of my favorite tanks right now on YouTube is Rachel O'Leary's Big Boys tank. It has the gars, the bashirs in it. That tank is freaking awesome. I especially liked it when it had all the algae flowing through it. Too bad she wouldn't be able to get that back up and running the way it was, because I think it made the tank look more ancient than what it does now with the big fern or whatnot. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you about the snakeheads. If you find them, kill them. I mean, if you find them, kill them and bring them to me, because they are actually quite delicious. Anything else I want to touch base on with this? I'm pretty sure that's it. Hopefully you guys liked this video. If you did, let me know. I'll do more videos similar to this. Matter of fact, there's other predator fish I really want to do videos on. My next video I really want to do right now is about arowana. Mainly the reason why Asian arowana are illegal in the US. And it may not be what you think it is. So, alright, that's what I got for you guys today. Take a quick vape. And I'll catch you in the next one. And remember, keep your tanks clean. Keep your fish healthy. Later on, guys.